welcome to the Let's Talk Show.
Woo!
We care, we listen, and we try best to help you guys out. I'm alongside my beautiful co-host, Shonda.
Hi.
Isaiah.
Your boy, yo.
Let's dig into these fits that we got on. Fit check, make you what?
What?
Sweat.
Make you drip, sweat.
We always look accordingly. We look fashionably nice and sexy, I must say.
Yes.
So
yes.
on today's show.
Watch check.
I y'all got my rolling on, but
Bling.
bling it out like
Big
that.
bag. Big bank. Yeah. Big bank take little bank.
Right. But today's show is gonna be a little mellow. It's gonna be a little, maybe a little emotional. We're gonna talk about our childhood traumas. So what is trauma?
Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Listen, you guys, I just want to say childhood trauma comes in all types of ways. But today, my childhood trauma that I want to talk about is my dad. My dad has really played a big impact on my life. Growing up, he was in and out my life a lot. You know what I'm saying? It was times that I really needed him to be there, but he wasn't. And I guess we could say it makes a difference because my mom and my dad, they was friends, and then they had me by accident their first time. And so
Pause. Accident.
They was friends. They was doing their thing.
Accident.
They was doing their thing or whatever.
So
But they
you
did
was
call
an
me.
oopsie daisy baby.
Oopsie daisy. But
Okay.
things happen. I'm okay. I get over it. But I think the biggest thing that really traumatized me is my dad said he was gonna be there. I mean, I could remember like times like it was just that. I remember my dad used to be like, I'm right around the corner. A lot of black folks, we always say we right around the corner, but he literally said he right around the corner. I used to pack my clothes up and sit at the end of the road because I used to wait with my dad. It'd be hours past two. My mom like, come back inside, he gonna be here later, you know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, nah, Mom, he coming. She'd be like, come on, come back inside, he coming. I'd be like, nah. I just remember like sometimes when my mom would just get up and cook breakfast or whatever. And I used to try to get up early because I'm like, he's still coming. And he still never came. You know what I'm saying?
So not one time he never came.
Every time that he said he was coming, he never came. He never came. And I always try to tell people like they made me be a better man today because I want to be better than him. You know what I'm saying? I always want to be better than him. So like when it's time for me to have kids, like I want to be there. I want to be there every step. You know what I'm saying? I just remember like all types of things. Like graduation was a big one for me. Like this really cried. Like I told him, like you don't even know me. If I didn't have your last name, you don't know nothing about me. You know what I'm saying? He promised me a Charger. Everybody know I like Chargers, but
Boy.
He won't go fast.
yeah.
Ricky Bobby.
Right. He promised me a Charger, and I was texting him in line. We were only supposed to text, in the graduation line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I'm really talking about this. Like this is my first time really like putting this out, so I hope I don't cry. I think I'm better now. Versus
if you cry, it's
and
okay.
this is my first time
Tears are meant to be exposed.
Yeah.
They are cleansing.
Yeah.
So if you want to cry.
Yeah. So my dad, I was in line and he used to be like, I'm here, and I was so happy. My dad ain't never been nowhere for me, and he is here. I'm excited. Like call my name first. I want to be the first in line. Like my last name is Auburn, so I know I'm gonna be at the front, but please put me at the beginning. And it's crazy because I get there, I'm looking around, he ain't there. You know what I'm saying? It was like a little bubble or whatever in me. I was like, man, he really ain't here. So graduation call, I get called, I walk through, I'm really excited. Everybody, my family comes to greet me. And I really apologize to my family because I was not really in a good mood. Because I'm seeing everybody, but my dad said he was gonna be here, he's not. I get to the gate, it ain't no car here. You know what I'm saying? And my auntie, I love my auntie to death on my dad's side. I love my auntie. When I tell you, my grandparents used to always give me gifts and say it was from my dad, and it really wasn't. And ever since I knew that, I was like, I don't want no more gifts. But my auntie Nene, she watched the show and everything.
Auntie.
Right. She has always been for me, and I know she really make excuses for my dad because she always wanted him to be in my life. You know what I'm saying? And she used to always tell him TJ, go. That's your number one. You know what I mean? That's your firstborn. Why don't you really support him or whatever? But he really feels disappointed that he let me down. In college, first time him text me or whatever, he was like, let's go to Six Flags. I'm like, Dad, What? Six Flags? I'm 18 years old. I want to ride no rides. You get what I'm saying? Like, yo, are you crazy?
He still thinking you the little.
Yeah. He still think I'm that little person. Recently, I tried to meet with him. He was like that he didn't want to meet by himself. He wanted to meet with his girlfriend. So at this point, I'm like,
that's disrespectful.
I cussed him out. I ain't gonna lie to you. I cussed him out. But I don't really. Me personally, I don't think I really care for my dad like I used to. Like, if I had kids, would I want him to be in my grandkids' life? I really don't think so, because it's like, what are you gonna do? Promise some things that I might have to fulfill? You know what I'm saying?
Well, so with that being said, do you feel like there is a chance for you and him to mend the relationship? Like, is it mendable?
I think
fixable.
I think if I was to actually have a talk with him, I would have plenty of questions, and I would want him to have like honest answers. You know what I'm saying? Because not even to be funny, like I don't feel like I was like a trouble kid. I feel like I deserve to have like both my parents, and I love my mom to death. Like, my mom has 11 kids. She always tried her best. You know what I'm saying? My mom hasn't been perfect. I know it's been times that I was mad at her, but I was happy because she never gave up. Mm-hmm. My dad gave up out the door. You know what I'm saying? It's like, men like gotta realize, like, we just not dropping off sperm and women. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you want to drop your sperm, take the responsibility and be a man and raise them kids. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all really get me?
Yeah. So in this question that's being posed, and it's for us and for you guys, do you forgive him?
Do I forgive him? That's a good question. I don't think I really forgive him just yet. When we had that face-to-face talk, I will fully forgive. Like, it's been a couple years. It's been probably more than a couple years. I think we probably passed each other or something like that. So I think you know what? Honestly, we passed each other because we call this the nigga store. I hope this won't get trouble with it, but it's the nigga store, and my granddad was there too. But the reason why my dad is not a good dad is because his dad wasn't good to him. You know what I'm saying? It's like a past.
So it's like a generational thing.
Yes, it's like a generational, and somebody has to break it. I remember I went to a gathering over there. My granddad, like, he knew me. He didn't know me. The only thing he knew about me is your grandson was in college, so that's the only thing that you could brag on. He didn't know nothing about me.
So right at this point, Rashid is not in the forgiving business. We're just gonna put that out there. He's not.
Well, okay. I'll
not yet, but in due time.
In due time. Or we could just I can say if I forgive him, I haven't forgot about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can forgive him, but I haven't forgot about it. You know what I'm saying? And so when we talk about it, then we can just.
You never forget, but I feel like when you can't really forgive someone, it's like they hold weight over you.
Yeah.
So it's like they're holding the keys like you're a puppet, and they're holding. I got forgiveness in my hand, and you're not gonna forgive me, so I'm gonna keep. But once you show a person that you can forgive and move on, I feel like if it's time and he wants to fix it or be there, allow him to do that.
Yeah, that's true because honestly, like, I don't need him.
Right.
But I would have liked to have them in my life. You know what I'm saying?
You I do have that option.
Yeah. Let me choose that option, because I promise you, if I was an option to him, he would not like that as well. Because what if I didn't like him, or I didn't want to be a part of he was trying to be? Because you got some dads out here that really try to be a part of their kids' lives, and the kid may not like it or something. But it's always been the small things that matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if my mom couldn't get me J's, but she got me Shaqs, like, I was still with, because I knew that was her. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to. Be in Gucci. If I got a shirt out of Dollar Tree or Walmart or something, I could wear that with pride, because my mama was woman enough, and she worked hard to give me what I wanted.
And that's what a lot of kids today don't realize, the sacrifices that their parents make for them to have the things they have, and they're so ungrateful. And then you have kids that have less and feel like this $5 shirt is worth millions of dollars, and they'll go to school and somebody will tear them down, and then they're like, feel bad about it.
If I would take that back, I will forgive my dad, because, like you said, something very popular that just really touched me was, if you don't forgive him, it's a lot of weight that's holding on you. And I don't want him to think that I have.
Do you feel like it's weight on?
Honestly, I don't. I don't feel like it's weight. Like, I'm still. Like,
you just wait for that sit. You just.
I just want that. Me personally, I just want that sit down talk. And I thought I was gonna get it this year. I called him, everything. One thing, I will say, is my dad is really big on avoiding. If I get his number, he'll make a promise, I'm gonna see you this week. But he still say the same. I said, just keep it real. that man will change his phone number because I text him and be like, so what's up? Like, be honest with you. Sometimes, like I said, I think I still, like, I'll chop him off sometimes, so he probably change his number. But it's so repetitive, and it's crazy because, like, this is a year that I want to meet all my siblings. I want to put them all in a room together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to do it this year. And the biggest thing they always ask me is, why dad ain't in our life? And honestly, I can't give them no response because I don't know. It's no reason.
It's not like a y'all fix my life type situation, which it probably won't be fixed. At the end of the day, in due time, in due time, everything falls in place and everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. So it's a reason, a season for everything.
But Paul, see, I don't want that. Even with my dad, I don't want that to happen. Like when I do make it up to the top, for some reason it seems like they just want to show up then. Mm.
Well, I was you to accept them. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about the then. You worry about the now. Focus on that. So because.
But that's still gonna hold in the heart.
But that's what a lot of people do. That's how we do God. Mm-hmm. We get to the top. And we forgot all the little bitty steps that it took for him to get us there. But when we get to the top, you know what I'm saying, it's just, it's God, this is God, that, you know what I'm saying, or we fall and be in the barrel, then that's when we want to be like, oh God, get me out, oh God, do this. Like, we do him the same way that we do human. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, who are we?
Can I forgive and just keep my distance?
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that.
So Isaiah, speak on your trauma. What has traumatized you?
So my childhood trauma is basically, it started from when I was basically born. Like, and my mom did say that it was somewhat like an accident, but not really. My mom had me when I was basically when she was 16, going into 16. So technically she was 15. My dad was about 18 at the time. So the thing is with my dad, he was there for when I was born type gig, but it was I can't remember that. That was when I was a baby. I seen pictures of him when I was a baby and him holding me. But the thing is that I wanted him here as in the time of kind of almost like my life. You know how everybody want that living thing with your mom and your dad. You have that wonderful familyhood type gig. But I didn't get that, sadly. My dad was out my life around after he saw me when I was born. He was there a little bit. Then he left, came back probably when I was about maybe 10. Barely seen him like that again. He left back out again, 12. It was skipped around, all my stuff was skipped around. My last time of me seeing him was when I was 18, which was graduation. He actually came to my graduation and my graduation party. So I was happy about that, but it wasn't I feel like my dad don't really move me like that, because the simple fact that he wasn't there from the get-go. So it's I felt like I would have been good with or without you regardless, because of my mom took all that full responsibility. So I'm happy for my mom for doing what she did, as in to take all that heat for what he could have been there for. So the only thing I would say is that I just hate a person that, a dad that's in and then they just leave out the picture. So people that's out there that has an experience like that where their dad is there and then they just leave. To me, I feel like you should cherish your mom to the death of you, because I cherish my mom to the death of me, because she did what my dad, I guess, couldn't do, because he wasn't obviously there. If he could do it, he would have been there. But I feel like a person that has to cheat in that particular way, because don't get me wrong, I have a lot of siblings. A lot. In different moms. Well, stepmoms wise. But I have a lot of siblings. But I only claim the actual 3 that I actually have. No shade. But I have a lot of siblings, which is I have probably maybe 16. All
is it 15, 16? 16. Is it 16, 17? 15, 16, 17. 16, 17.
What?
What you talking about? 16, literally 16.
I know, but I'm saying the number after 15, before 17, 16.
Yeah. So it's just a simple.
What's a breakdown?
Yeah, it's a lot. He was called the Clayco H word. Yeah, because he done had a lot of kids. But I'm happy for all my brothers and siblings that came from all the other parents too. It's just
you don't know them.
I know them because my mom took me around them. I just did not grow up around my dad. My mom went to make sure I was introduced to them, but except for him, like he was
So
never
do you
in the
have a
picture.
relationship? Do you have a relationship with them?
With my siblings,
Mhm.
yeah, I can still text them to this day, but like I haven't texted a lot of them in a minute, but I still know them. I don't have any beef with them or anything like that. It's just we all just. I feel like we're just here.
Yeah.
I feel like we was all like no shade. I feel like we was like a sperm. I feel like we was all sperm donors.
So you spoke on like perfect families, because I know as me, like, you know, when I was wrestling and stuff like that, I didn't have, you know, my dad and my matches at all. Like my mom dropped in there, and I was so happy when she came, but I knew that we had siblings. So with you being a cheerleader in school, did it affect you not having your dad in your life?
What the children?
Yeah, just him not being there at the camp. So you just looking at the stands, you see families.
To me, I feel like if you want to be technical, I feel like my dad was like a sperm donor. Like he just gave sperm to everybody. Like here you go. Because to me, if you want to be technical, it don't feel like a legit dad to me. If you want to be technical, it feel like I really didn't have a dad. It just feel like you was just a sperm donor. No shade.
I use him.
Well, let's give a clap for all the single mothers out there. You know, shout out to each and every one of you, because y'all are strong and independent. But my question is, because I didn't have that. My dad was a part of my life. I don't know how y'all feel. I can't relate.
But one last time before you started though, is that I do feel like I would be totally different if I did have him in my life.
I was just fixing to ask that question. So the question that he asked, well, basically answered before it was asked. How does the fact that your fathers were missing out of your life, how has that impacted both of y'all and where y'all are today? Is it like?
I feel like if my dad was in my life, I feel like a lot of things that I secured now would have been secured back in the day versus now. You know what I'm saying? Because I needed somebody to be on me. Because at times mothers don't be, especially sports wise. Like if I'm tired, my mom like, you ain't gotta go to practice tomorrow. But that dad would have gave you that tough love, like, nah,
push, like you need to go.
You need to go. Like, don't give up. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Because the true winners is the ones that have to really get out there and do it. The
Right.
and it's
the ones that
things
get
that
out the mud.
Yes.
I feel like I just just personality wise of myself, it's like I don't know. I have a very high ego, very high self-esteem about myself, where I feel like I just didn't need my dad in no type of way, because it's like. But I do feel like if he was here, I feel like a lot of things would be totally different.
But do that high ego comes from
my mom, my whole family support system. I have my family, when I tell you I got what I wanted in certain aspects, but then the things I couldn't get, I mean, I still had to work for it myself. But the things that I...
But what I'm saying is, does that high ego comes from like anger from back in the day? Because the reason why I say that is because like, for me growing up, I used to always think a lot of things didn't affect me. I wanted to be like that, you know what I'm saying? But deep down inside, it really affected me. So do you feel like your high ego comes from you like trying to cover up things?
So are you hiding emotions behind the fact that your dad was missing?
No, not really. Because at the same time, I still feel like all my talent and the stuff that I do now, of why I'm so grateful for everything I can do now, is because of the simple fact that I feel like it was my surroundings of people.
The
people that was in
they made.
Yeah, that they made and pushed into me. The tumbling came in because I think like I said, I'm self-taught. Mm-hmm. So I saw cheerleaders when I got to middle school. I was like, that's so cool. I liked the throwing in the air stuff like that. I thought that was so cool. Then flipping came involved when after I started these boys flipping, I was like, oh shoot, I want to flip now. Then I felt like I'm a type of person, I want to be better than you. No shade, I feel like I want to be better than you. Yeah. So I used to compete with people and stuff like that. And I used to get better and better, watch videos, and I got better and better. So now I'm at a high level of where I taught myself to get to. So now I'm happy where I'm at.
And it's so crazy how like we can get our minds off things by like the new things that are here in today's world. But Shonda, so we want to talk about what is the trauma that you have been through?
Cause I know yours is totally different than ours.
Yeah, my childhood trauma is totally different from you guys. Cause like I said, I had my dad in my life. I miss this man every day. It'll be 14 years this year that he has been gone.
So he passed.
Yeah, he died in 2008.
Sorry to that.
Yeah, so he passed, but like I said, I didn't have that, which y'all had, because he was actually there for me, because it was just me and my brother. But I ain't gonna cry.
I feel like that's why you well-rounded.
Yeah, Yeah, cause well, I was the only girl, so I was
You was
I was
baby,
the only
right?
yes, I was his only girl, and then I was the only granddaughter of his, you know what I'm saying, his parents. So you know, it was like I got everything I wanted, but you know, my dad is always the daddy's girl type thing and everything. So that's why. But if I could give my arm to just have a conversation, I would. But my childhood trauma was wow. Okay.
You got it.
My childhood trauma was that I was molested from the time I was 5.5, almost 6 till I was 12. So it was by a family friend. It was my mom's husband's cousin. So this guy, he was older. So when I first met him, we moved, I was 5, I think 4 or 5. So anyway, like being a kid, you don't really understand what someone is doing to you, especially when they're older. So he would come in the house, you know, everything and speak and stuff and everything, and it was just how he would touch me that made me uncomfortable. So he would like, you know, hug me, or he would want me to get in his lap. And my dad always told me like, you never sit in a man's lap.
Yeah.
He never, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He wouldn't even he would let me sit on his leg, because it was this little thing that he would do, like bouncing on his leg and singing this little song or whatever that he do. And that was it. But as far as like sitting in a man's lap, no. So I would always get up. So as I got older, it was just like, something is not right. So he would come in the house and he would stand behind me, he would rub on me, he would touch on me. So I knew it was uncomfortable. So I was just like, okay, this is not right. But I still never said anything because I'm a kid, he's older. So I'm thinking, okay, this is right, what he's doing, but it's a wrong feeling. So as time progressed, I have 2 younger brothers, which are Clint and Yadrick, and he would come over. And anytime after that he would come over, I would always make sure that they were in the room with me. I can remember a specific time I was holding Yadrick in my lap, because he was like 4, maybe 5, and I was holding him in my lap, and I was like, okay, they're in the room, and I'm holding him. Maybe he won't touch me this time. He literally picked my brother up and put him down and started touching on me. Like literally. You know what I'm saying? And my brothers are in there, but I don't think they really realize, because they're kids, they're younger. So, you know, I'm just like, you know, stop. And he wouldn't stop because he's older, he's stronger. So, and then I remember another time, you know, I can't remember, we were having something at the house or whatever, and everybody was over there, and he was like, he almost had my clothes off, and somebody walked in, and he stopped. And I'm thinking, okay, at this point, this is going to stop. This is going to end. I'm not going to have to keep going through this. You know what I'm saying? And people ask me now, like, why didn't I tell someone? How do I tell someone? Because in my mind, I felt like if I tell, I'm going to be wrong. Nobody's going to believe me. So the last time I was 12, and I had a friend, she lived next door to me, so it was a bunch of people at our house then. I can't remember why everybody was there, but they were. And he came. And so I'm like, okay, well, my friend's here. We were all in the living room. So I was like, well, she here. You know, my brothers are here. He not going to do nothing. He come up behind me, and he's standing behind me, and he's like, oh, well, you're this tall now, and I'm this much tall. And he started touching on me. So I was like, oh, God, oh, God. So then he went to her. He went to my friend, and he did the same exact thing. And she took off running out the house. Like, she ran, and she's screaming and everything. So I knew she was going to tell her daddy. So it was like, the way our house, it was like a little ditch, alley, gully. We used to call it our trailer. That was in between our yard and her yard. So we got there, and I'm just calling her name. I'm crying. I'm like, please don't tell, please don't, because I knew if she told, I was going to get in trouble. I just knew if she told. That's just how my mind as a kid, that's how I was. So I'm thinking like, I'm just going to get in trouble, you know. And so it was like after that, when that happened, it was just like everything faded away, because my mom, we ended up moving and everything, and he didn't come around no more. So I felt like I was free. But a lot of that damaged me as relationship-wise with men. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't let my guard down. I didn't trust men. And I felt like the only way for me to be loved by a man is to be sexual with him. So I couldn't lay in a bed with a man and him not touch me because of that. Okay, so I get older, and everything. And like I said, this is affecting me. And so I'm just like, I gotta stop this because I don't want to be wore out as a woman before I have a husband and my children. So I'm gonna stop having sex. So I meet this guy and I explained this to him, and I told him, like, you know what I'm saying, if we can't lay in the bed together without you touching me, I don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
And he respected it. That was the first man that I ever was able to lay in the bed with, deal with, and he never sexually touched me. I tempted him so much, but he never did.
Now, what you would did?
What? That's it.
But you would have did anything if he tempted you? Like, did it?
Yeah, because at this point, like, I wanted it. Like, you know, I'm a woman, I have needs. So I'm just like, you know,
I'm a woman, I have needs.
Yes, I am trying to tempt him, and he would not. He was like, no.
So that was that
He
respect.
stood, right, he stood his ground. So after that, I was just like, okay. So I'm in the church and I'm learning about God and I'm getting a relationship. And so my pastor spoke a word to me, and he was talking about my childhood trauma and how I needed to heal from it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really get it. I did, but I didn't. So it was a couple of weeks later. I'm out seeing my people or whatever. I'm doing my nightly curfew checks and stuff. And my coworker called me. She frantic. She was like, "Where you at? Where you at?" And I was like, "I'm out in the field. Why? What's wrong?" And she was like, "Oh my God, so this has happened. My child's been touched. We're on our way to it's a place, a facility where they take the kids so that they can talk about what's happened and tell them about it." So I was like, "Oh my God, how did you find out?" So she told me at the time her daughter was 4. My niece was 4. She's not literally my niece, but I call her my niece. Mm-hmm. She was 4. And she said she went to pick her up, from the babysitter, and they were outside. She was like, "Mama, my boom boom hurt." And she was like, "What?" And so the babysitter tried to give her this bogus lie. She was like, "No, shut up." So her daughter told her, like, "My boom boom hurt because this is what he done to me." So she basically, at 4 years old, stood up and told her mama that her babysitter's grandson or something like that had what he had done to her. And so I'm crying at this point because I'm like, here I am, 32 years old, and I have not told my mama or anybody that this man was doing this to me. And this 4-year-old child told her mama the same exact day. That baby gave me the push that I needed to go tell.
Yeah.
She did.
So
she
told.
did. I did. I was just crying because I was full of emotion. Like, okay, God, I get what you're saying. I'm gonna do it. So it was just like, I'm going to church and my pastor, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. And here I am thinking, okay, I got time. So one night I was laying on the bed and I was like, okay, I had just got done praying in the work. The Spirit was like, now. So I called my mom, me and her, we cut up, we talk all the time. So I called her, I said, "What you doing?" And she was like, "I'm not doing nothing, gal, just laying here." So I was like, "Oh, okay."
Gal.
That's what she said. So I said, I need to talk to you about something. And she was like, "Okay." So, I broke down to her, telling her about what happened with my coworker, because she knows him and stuff. And she was like, "Oh my God." So I said, "Mom, I gotta tell you something." And she was like, "What? You pregnant?" And I was like, "No." So it was like a pause on the phone because it was just like, I got this lump in my throat, the tears is rolling down my eyes at this point, because it's just like, how do I tell my mom that her baby was molested all these years and I never said anything? Mm-hmm. So she was like, "Gal, what is it? What's wrong? Tell me, talk to me." She's trying to get me to tell. So I said, "My mom was molested." And she said, "What? When? How? Who?" And so I started telling her everything. And she was just like, she's crying at this point. Because she's like, "Shonda, where was I at? Why you didn't say something to me?" And I told her, I said, "Mom, because I didn't think." She said, "You my child, I'm going to believe you." She was like, "I would believe." She said, "Oh my, I cannot believe that you felt like I wouldn't believe you, like you couldn't talk to me, like you couldn't tell me." And she's a ball of emotions to know that from the time I was 5 till I was 12, a 7-year period, I was being touched on. So she said, "Well, did he ever penetrate you?" And I said, "No, he almost did." And so she was like, and I told her about the story when I was holding Yadrick and everything, and she was just like, "Where was I at?" I said, "Mama, y'all was always around," because they were in close proximity of us at all times, period. When I was younger, I couldn't go stay at none of my friends' house. She didn't play that. Yeah. I can go to my cousin's family, whatever, but as far as like friends, no, she wasn't having it. And so, I was just a whole ball of emotions to know that I held this for so long and it had damaged me so bad in every aspect of my life, period.
So if you had if you was to be that 4-year-old that told then, or 12 or 11, how would you think that have affected your life now? Did you think it would have just?
I feel like if I would have spoke up and said something sooner, my relationship with the opposite sex would not have been as bad as it was. I would not have just been, you know what I'm saying, like, because I was the type of person, if I'm coming to you just for sexual reasons, that's all I want. And then when you catch feelings, oh, I'm just going to play that to the left. Yeah. I would not have done that. I finessed and played with so many millions of emotions and feelings because of me being damaged, and I damaged them. And I never want to do it to nobody, because I don't want nobody to do that to me. So
how are your trust issues now?
They're a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord.
God.
Thank you, Lord. Now I'm still guarded as far as letting my feelings and my guard down. But when it comes to that, like sexual wise, I'm gonna lay it down flat. If I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah. So where's the dude now?
He's dead. He died. I think he passed maybe anywhere between 10 to 15 years ago, not exact, but he's been dead for a minute.
I think what the hardest thing is, because like you said, your parents were close in proximity.
Yeah.
And that what the biggest thing is when you holding your siblings, it's like I just couldn't imagine you just feel like you thought you were safe, or when your friend was there, you thought you were safe.
And you was 12. How old was he?
He probably was 30 in between there for him to know better. You're a whole grown man out here and everything, but I say this to say that regardless of what your situation is, if you are being sexually abused, there is a sex abuse hotline out there. That number is 1-800-656-4673. Don't ever feel like you cannot speak to someone and no one will believe you. Tell it. Make sure you speak on it. Then no matter what they promise you, who they gonna kill, whatever they say, you speak out on and stand your ground, because that's what the manipulator will do. They will say, oh, if you tell I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Oh, you gonna have to prove to me because I'm telling you. And
if they say they gonna kill somebody, that's when you go to the police.
Right. I would have spoke up, but he never threatened me or anything like that. I just wish I would have said something sooner, because my dad been dead, like I said, for almost 14 years, and he has no clue. I don't even know if my uncle, which is his brother, and if he watches the show, he gonna see it. So I'm sure he gonna call me and say, Missy, because that's what he called me. He don't never say Shonda. I'm pretty sure he's gonna call with the questions.
So he don't even know?
No, the only person that knows that I was molested is my mama. So my brothers are about to hear it. Some of my friends know. My mom was about to hear it. My brothers are about to hear it. Like all my family, friends, co-workers, everybody that know me is about to hear my story. So, I just had to put it out there on this platform.
Yeah. And this is what this is about. Like, we want to talk with realness with our people. We want to know what we're going through and stuff like that. Well, you heard it best, you guys. Today we talked about trauma, and trauma is very emotional. So you guys find that support team. Find that person that you need to talk to and talk with, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. Look up the numbers. Never be afraid. No matter what they promise you. They promise you that house on the hill, that new car. No matter what they promise you. Remember, always tell somebody. And you heard it best from the talk show. Shonda and Isaiah.
Peace.
Do I do it again?
You just like do it again?
Yeah, because you messed up right there.
Yeah, talk out there.
You heard it best, I think.
Like it's never your fault.
Okay. And remember, guys, it's never your fault. But wait. I got top up that.
It's never your fault, but you heard it best.
Yeah. And remember, guys, it's never your fault. You heard it best from Shonda, Isaiah, and myself. Listen, y'all will have a great day. Bye.